Yeah. Episode 9.
Maybe.
Maybe 9.
We were
Probably
told we should
9.
do a podcast. We were told we should do a podcast.
Yeah.
We were told we should do a podcast. Yeah.
So we did one.
And legit, here's the podcast.
We went ahead and did it.
So we motherfucking did one.
Part 3 of the history of Viva La Dirt League.
Where
were we?
We didn't even know that we were going to be doing 3 parts.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping we can wrap it up now. 3 feels right.
It does.
I remember
Trilogy's
thinking
always
like
good.
we're gonna do it in one. I was like, oh, Adam, when you run it, I was like, we'll get through it.
We'll get through it.
Yeah,
No,
and we
there's
were
a lot. The thing is, we've been going for a long time now, and there's a lot to get through. Over a decade of Viva.
How long since first video?
12 years. Almost to the day. Wait, almost to the day. We released the teaser trailer in November of 2011. And it's November 2023 now.
That's bonkers.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
So we kind of got up to the PUBG era last time, which
Kind of,
was
yeah.
roughly 2018.
Okay, so quick summation of the PUBG. We jumped on the bandwagon and we were some of the first, and that really kicked Viva into overdrive. That was the general consensus of PUBG. Are you looking up the... Oh, I thought you were
I'm looking up something else, but you keep talking.
and PUBG noticed us because we were probably some of the only sketch content creators making PUBG content.
Yeah.
And so shortly after we started making PUBG, they reached out to us and invited us to PGI 2018 in Berlin.
That was very exciting.
Do we all remember this?
It's actually burnt into my
Yeah.
memory. Like I feel like I have a pretty bad memory in general in life.
Yeah.
But I have a great memory of PGI.
Me too, man.
Not just a good memory, like good memories, but
Yeah.
like I remember it quite well.
PGI includes one of the greatest moments of my life.
Absolutely.
It was actually fucking nuts. Like, what were there, 4-5 days or something?
Yeah, I think 4.
I say that I've got a great memory.
Right,
of the
I've got a
whole
great
thing.
memory.
I can't
No,
remember.
Adam, we were there 3 weeks. What are you doing? No. Yeah, I think we were there for like 4 days. And we were flowing over. Okay, so this is like, Viva was just sort of starting to take off.
So we hadn't even hit 100,000 subscribers yet.
Were we not even at 100,000?
Well, remember, it happened at PGI.
I thought it was 500,000. Was that 100,000? We
Yeah.
had Germany crickets.
Because I was doing stats the other day. At the beginning of 2018, we were on 80,000 subscribers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you remember
The last 5 years has been like, so part 1 and part 2, I know it's a lot happened in the early days of Viva.
But we were still
But the
sub
last 5
100,000.
years have been nuts.
Wow.
That's insane. I can't believe we got flown over to PGI 2018 at under 100,000. So, and we not only did we get flown out.
We were on 100,000, but our PUBG videos were going insane.
Yeah, they were getting shared. A lot of people were watching them. So we got flown out, and not only did we get flown out, we got flown out in business class. This was my first time flying business class anywhere. Same for you guys?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
It was so nice.
And it was nice because Berlin is so far away from New Zealand. We had to try 2 different airlines over there and 2 different airlines back so we could really compare them and talk about them. Like, I liked
Compare and
this and I
contrast
liked
the
that.
business classes.
And our consensus was, no, it wasn't Qatar. We didn't. It was
Cathay Pacific.
Cathay
was
Pacific
the best that we did.
Out of the 4, yeah.
And
The thing is, it was crazy that they flew us business class, but
Yeah.
it wasn't just us. That they flew 100 esports, PUBG esports players, and 50 like influencers. So it wasn't just the 5. It was the 4 of us, rather. The 3 of us and Ben.
yeah.
It was bloody 46 other influencers that they flew over as well, which was nuts.
Which was awesome. It really felt like going, like rewarding Ben a little bit for like trusting in us.
Yeah.
And it was so crazy the caliber of people we were liaising with over there. There was just like, oh, there's Ninja over there.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
There's
Yeah.
Dr. Disrespect
There's Dr.
over there.
Disrespect.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing Dr. Disrespect in the kind of the back rooms, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god,
I know.
this is my shot. This is my one shot. I'm doing it, and I went up to him. I was like, hey, Dr. Disrespect, could you do a Twitch little?
I was so jealous. I was so jealous.
Could you do like a little Twitch
Yeah.
thing? And I said, can you say, you subscribe to Rowan's channel? The doctor approves.
Did you ask him to say the doctor approves at the end?
Yeah, doctor
Nice.
approves.
All right.
And
nice.
then he was actually so gracious.
He was so great about it. I
You
remember
had
multiple
that on your
takes.
Twitch channel for a long time.
I've
though.
actually just put it back on.
What was the happy memory you were talking about?
Okay, so I can actually say this is the most incredible moment of my entire life. And most euphoric moment of my entire life. And I don't think this will ever be beaten. And it was the moment where, so me and Ben were on the stage doing the big charity tournament, like entering to be, and we were teamed up with
streaming in front of tens of millions of people.
Apparently, if you include China, it was hundreds of millions of people. PGI decided to do a charity match where they paired that they did 100. Well, I guess it wasn't 100 because it was teams of 4. But the actual pro league esports players and just generic old influence. But the thing is, a lot of the influencers like Dr. Disrespect are really good at.
What are the a lot of influencers?
Good at PUBG.
Influencers from playing PUBG.
Yeah, I know.
Good.
And they're like, the reason they're influencers is they're fucking amazing at the game.
Yeah.
And here we are, these absolute schlubs.
Yeah.
And there was 4 of us, but they only wanted 2 of us. And Alan and me were immediately like, no, I'm not doing this. So like the classic, like pushing someone forward out of the crowd, we were just like, Ben and Ron can do it.
Me and Ben were like, okay, let's do it.
Sorry, continue.
So we were in the tournament. We were, it was like, and this is back in the days where like, it was kind of unusual just to win a game of normal PUBG anyway.
Yeah.
Like, let alone against like pro league.
I remember whenever I
players.
used to win a game of PUBG, I'd take a photo and send it to you.
Yeah.
Guys.
Because it was all back in those days. It was always human players. There were no bots and stuff. So games had stakes.
Yeah.
So
and we weren't that good at PUBG.
I'd say we were below average.
Yeah.
And we were up on the stage and the 2 pro league players in this final game. This is the game that would have determined. Like this is the final game that determines. Are we going to be in the runnings for the prize draw?
So what was it? It was 3 games or 5 games?
Can't remember.
I think it may have only been 3.
I think it was 3. I don't think it was too many. Yeah.
And so, you guys had done not crazy well, but you'd held your own in games 1 and 2.
Yeah, we done okay. Yeah. But this was the game that really mattered. And then our 2 pro league players that were with us both died.
Yeah.
It was just me and Ben.
Yeah.
And then we went into sneaky snake mode. And then I got snaked and I got killed, and it was just Ben. And then like he was just sneaky snaking around the map.
And tall grass.
And what was it? It was like 10 players left or something. To now zoom out, and Alan and I are in the like influencer box or something, and we were doing the maths while you guys were playing. You may not have had the screens up to know this, but we knew that if you guys even placed first, second, or third in this third match, that it would mean that you would either get the team would either get second or third overall in the point. So we were losing our shit.
And I had my little stream open up on the stage so we could have some sort of record of it. And then I remember just watching it as Ben was like still sneaky snaking around the map, and it was getting like to the top 10. I was like, wait, he's fucking top 10 now. How?
Yeah.
And then it was like, he's top like 5 now. What the? Even at that stage, it was like, what? That my attitude at that stage was, how?
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember getting down to like the top 3, and he was still alive. And then before we knew it, he was top 2, just him and this was a pro league player. It wasn't an influencer.
From the Chinese team.
Yeah, it was one of the pro league influencers. And then for some fucking miracle, he just happened to be like down the circles, the last 2 people, and he just happened to see them in his sights, and he just goes, well,
I don't know how he saw it. Like for context, tall grass, he saw nothing. He saw a pixel.
I saw this. I still look back at this footage and go, I can't see it.
I can't see it. I don't understand how he saw this player. But Ben was like, I think that's him and committed to it.
And then he just went pop, 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 and then you just see winner, chicken dinner come up on screen. I couldn't process what the fuck was happening. And I just remember like just screaming and just like, it felt like a Disney movie. And then you guys ran on stage and we were just going,
I don't even know if we were allowed to run on stage.
I don't know. We just did. No, but we were allowed to wait in the wings. So I assume and there weren't any. Yeah, but good question.
Yeah.
Because no one else ran on stage.
No one else. Oh, the other Knights players did.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. But I don't know if we were supposed to.
But it was just. It was. I remember we were all just like I was just losing my mind.
And the
footage of it is very funny.
Actually, we've got really good footage of it. But
this is like a game with Ninja was in this game and Dr. District. They were all in this game, right? They were all competing.
Well, Ben
felt like a Disney movie.
I don't think it was the last game, but Ben at one point killed Ninja. You killed Wacky Jackie. Like overall, the entire 3 games were very exciting.
Yeah. So we felt very, very famous. We came back home, and then we're not famous again.
Which is good. It's nice being able to turn the fame on and off.
Yeah,
Even
exactly.
still to this day, you can go pretty much anywhere in Auckland and not be recognized for the most part.
Yeah, you just get, like, if you're out for a good chunk of the day, you might get noticed a couple of times.
One or two,
yeah. So then the next couple of years we kind of breezed by because it's just grinding, really.
Growing.
Growing. And yeah, starting to really see some real momentum. And I guess we're really starting to validate our decision to leave our jobs. Like, this is, thank God we did.
I guess for me, that kind of 2018, 2019 and the beginning of 2020, I remember starting to get concerned about PUBG, actually. And I think I voiced this at the time, was I didn't want to become the PUBG channel.
Yeah.
And we were really known for PUBG at the time, and that was the thing that was making us famous, really building us up. And we chatted about this last time, where PUBG was what drew the fans in, NPC Man is what locked them in, and Board was for super fans.
Yeah.
And I saw a future where when PUBG died, so did we.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, this is going to suck.
Thank God it didn't work out that way. And every time we've tried to do PUBG recently, I mean, it's like everything ebbs and flows. But like PUBG is our least, like, our most poorly performing.
Yeah, that's so bizarre now that once upon a time that was our golden goose.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of like.
And I think it's testament to us for going, okay, let's really try other things. And we did Red Dead Logic, which these days is one of our most successful things on the channel.
Yeah, Red Dead Logic was, I think, in this actual period here, between 2018 and 2020.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Most recent one we did okay, didn't it? It wasn't
did okay.
Great. It's actually the Supercuts doing really well.
Oh, is it? Great. I haven't actually checked that. Yeah, so we started branching out and doing other things.
Apex Logic, which didn't do quite as well.
Didn't do well. That was a big learning, wasn't it?
Big learning curve.
FPS Logic in that time as well.
Yeah,
have you got that coming? Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hey, no, that's right. No, you take over. Go ahead.
Okay, it's the Adam Show, ladies and gentlemen.
No, we got into FPS Logic was kind of our first big tentpole production, I think, where we had done Rex, which had a budget, but this was our first time we really were like, let's put our own money and like get a budget together and make something we'll try and be like really proud of, and let's set it up as our own IP, so it's not Call of Duty Logic, or it's not. I think we were starting to wisen up to the fact like, oh, PUBG's like not really ours, and Red Dead Logic is not really ours. I mean, it's ours, but it's not ours. So creating our own IPs, and I think we were starting to see real growth at Epic MSC Man and Board, and really going, okay, we own those, and we can see futures with that, and that's why we committed to FPS Logic, despite the fact calling it Call of Duty Logic or whatever might have given us more views out of the gate. I think FPS Logic, just on its own merits, really succeeded, and the audience loved it.
I still look back at FPS Logic and go, fuck, we made something so good. I agree,
man.
We did spend a long time on it. We spent 3 days on 5 episodes.
Yeah.
Which is nuts.
That one does really stand out even today. As our peak.
Yeah. And
someone was asking me the other day, how did you make it so good back then? And it literally is time.
It's time.
But we spent significantly longer on it than we usually do on an episode.
Like, looking back, we didn't spend it was insane money for what we had at the time, which wasn't a lot of money. So FPS Logic did amazing. We still look back at that and be like, that's definitely still one of our peaks.
Oh my God, yes.
And
whenever I want to impress someone, I either show them Baelins are out or I show them FPS Logic.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same. Or Witcher.
Oh, sorry, and Witcher. Yeah, those three.
So at this point, I can't remember when we actually started these discussions. Our video archive would suggest it was 2020 or so. We started discussing us as the bottleneck of Viva La Dirt League. And I think we all started realizing that we were the ones that were going to start like limiting Viva La Dirt League's output. And if we were always the bottleneck, Viva La Dirt League was never going to grow beyond what it currently is. Yeah.
It was around 2018. I don't actually fully remember. We started getting our first employees.
Oh, yes.
When did we first employee? Because you, Ali, were our very first employee.
I was.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And like same bottleneck conversation is that we needed to stop doing things.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, so I came on board in June 2020. That's when I came on. Yeah.
I thought it was a little bit earlier.
No, it was 2020.
June 2020.
Yeah.
So you're right. It was after Baelin's Route Kickstarter. Interesting.
Yes, I came on then and then I did Baelin's Route. Like I was here when we were filming it, but I wasn't here for the Kickstarter. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. There you go.
It's been good to have you and Ash for the Kickstarter.
Yes, I know.
And we had editors, and then shortly after we got a designer, Ash Van Gran, who still works with us, and then we got more editors.
Yeah. And then it brings us to Souls Logic, where this was kind of, this is jumping into, we're testing out like in-game stuff here, where the idea was we could get creatives, people that we know and respect and enjoy working with, to helm shows for Viva. Viva would fund them. We would kind of take a step back, and they would make the shows and obviously upload it to Viva, and it'd be kind of Viva's show. And the first, I'm 99% sure this is right. The first time we did this was Ben with Souls Logic.
I'm pretty sure.
You are correct.
It was a really safe bet. It was Ben. Everybody loved Ben. We knew Ben could do it. We
when did we release the first? Late 2020.
Oh yeah, October 2020 was the first Souls Logic, and it's been doing really, really well. And full disclosure, we do want Ben. He made season 2, and we're trying to get him to do season 3. It's just timing. It could be Elden Ring logic. We're playing around with the We don't
jump on that while it's hot.
Jump. That's the Viva way, dog. Jump on there while it's hot. And something happened in 2020 that kind of lots of things happened in 2020. Sorry for interrupting our podcast with me, but we are sponsoring this podcast with our merch. Available at VLDL.shop. We have the TechTown Welcome Bundle, which includes TechTown mug, pen, lanyard, and you get an exclusive welcome from manager Rowan. Get amongst, there's incredible stuff over there at VLDL.shop. The link is in the description. Now, back to the podcast.
2020 could almost be this entire episode. 2020 was a big year for us.
It was a big year.
I also remember we didn't love the game, but we loved the series. Tarkov Logic was also another series that we did at the beginning of 2020. And our final shoot day of Tarkov Logic, I have a very clear memory of this.
Really?
We had finished shooting. We were all standing around in the car park with very nervous trepidation because all we were hearing was the government's going to put us into lockdown.
Was it Tarkov Logic?
That was the last day of Tarkov Logic.
God,
and we were all terrified. We didn't know what it was going to mean.
Yeah.
And literally the next day they announced we're going into lockdown.
Lockdown today.
Yeah.
Wow.
They announced the lockdown, and the lockdown happened 2 days later.
Wow.
Right.
So 3 days after our final shoot day of Tarkov Logic, we went into lockdown.
God, luckily we filmed, we had an archive. So I remember 2020 was our year where we were like, we're going to get ahead this year. We're making more and more content. We're going to get months and months ahead so we can start doing these bigger projects and can start taking little breaks and stuff. And so by the time lockdown came along, and we were literally, like I imagine a lot of the world was, you're in your home, stay in your homes, don't come out. You definitely can't film. Don't be stupid. We had months of
We had like
film.
3 months.
We had 3 months of like sketches kind of in the bank that we got through, which did start sucking. I think we had to slow down to 2 videos a week to kind of like drag out our how long we could actually release episodes for. But another thing that happened in 2020, what we alluded to earlier, was we launched the Kickstarter for Baelin's Route. God, a lot happened in 2020.
I know, right? God, it must have been a busy year for us.
Tarkov, FPS Logic, Souls Logic, Baelin's Route.
I still remember for Baelin's Route being just like blown away with the amount of money and support we got.
We chatted about this in last episode, but prior to that, our first fundraising thing was Buffed Up Nerds, and we made 10 grand, and we were,
and that was we did a 24-hour live stream as well for that.
And we were blown away by getting 10 grand.
Also remember, the last time we got funding for a proper thing was was Wrecked, and that was $80,000 for a whole thing.
New Zealand, and the amount of parameters and stuff
film,
the parameters. And so I was kind of thinking, I was imagining 100,000 to 200,000 to make Baelin's Route, and then we got about 600,000. So we're like, we're going to have a proper fucking budget to make this thing as best as it can be. And even then, the money was evaporated immediately. But we were able to like actually spend money and make
661.
Make it to its best. It was incredible.
What did Baelin's Route mean to you guys? Like the whole, I guess, going into it. Why did we do it? Why did we feel we needed to make Baelin's Route?
I think before Baelin's Route, the reason to me was because we needed to get bigger and better, and I want to expand. I want to be a feature film director and all of that kind of stuff.
It's valid.
Straight up. And it's not that anymore. It's actually, to me, it's showing that expansion of the NPC Man universe.
Hard. I feel
there's something, especially now with D&D and just all the work that I'm doing and the lore of NPC Man, it's really exciting to see this world that we've created out of silly little sketches that's literally turning into its own fantasy world. And Baelin's Route is a large part of that.
For me, because I've never been driven the same way you guys have been driven to make feature films and stuff. So for me, I remember at the time thinking, I'm not particularly driven to make a feature film for my own kind of creative needs. And I even remember thinking, man, this will not have the return on investment financially for us. Like we're gonna.
I remember we did several.
I remember thinking we're gonna spend every cent of that, and this is probably actually still tracks, but we're gonna spend every cent of that on, but like working ourselves to the bone to get this made while still doing normal Viva La Dirt League content, and then the video will do okay. And then we'll continue on, and we can tick it off. But I've been so surprised with the actual stats of it and how even to this day it still brings in so many subscribers. Ben's
he's just outside the window pulling the fingers.
It's still one of our main drivers for new subscribers, and it's made decent revenue because I mean, like obviously YouTube outlets chucks a few ads in there, so it's made nowhere near the budget back. But
I remember kind of going, okay, well, the story of Baelin's Route is quite rooted in NPC Man. Like it's for our hardcore fans. But the amount of people over the years who have come in being like, I asked, what's your first video that you saw? And then I saw Baelin's Route first, and then I loved it, and I'm like, wait, what?
That blows my mind. But I guess at the end of the thing is the whole idea behind it was it's an accessible story.
Correct.
And I wanted to make it to prove largely to myself as well that we could do content that was longer than 3 minutes. So I think I was starting to really worry that longer form content, like I just wouldn't have any grasp of it and out of our wheelhouse. And we would just be out of practice that I was like, I need to write something that has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and a character arc, and relationships, and ups and downs. It's something that tells a complete story that had, like feels complete.
I think we also did a really good job of setting up the world in the first like 3 or 4 minutes, going, this is a video game world. Here's all the tropes. Here's some things. And,
I think so as well. Yeah. And those kind of bookends work really well with the same stuff that approached in a different way. And why Baelin? Why did we choose Baelin?
I remember we had discussions about because you've got a Greg the Garlic Farmer story, but
it would have been the natural choice. But exactly.
The story you've still got in the pipeline is this massive story, which was like we just can't.
It's Avengers Endgame shit as well.
It's the Endgame story, so we have to just shelve that.
Yeah, or maybe another 5 or 10 years or something.
Yeah,
like, legit.
I can't remember why Baelin.
Yeah, I mean,
don't know if there ever was a reason.
He was a fan favorite.
People love the character, but what a bold choice by us to choose the character that only has one line of dialogue as our protagonist for our biggest thing we've ever done. And I think we're like, but you feel connected to Pokemon, and all they do is say their name. Baelin's got a few more words than that.
One character who only has a character who only has one line, and the other main lead is a character that's not been in NPC Man, a new character.
Yeah.
And then Ben's character, which is, Ben's a fan favorite, but also, again, not a character that's been an NPC Man.
Yeah, exactly. And Ben actually plays quite a horrible character. I remember Ben was like, at the end of filming, being like, I think people are going to hate me. And I was like, but that's kind of the point. You're the bad guy. Like, but I think he was worried, like, not in a good way. Like, people were just going to, like, hate his portrayal. And I'm like, no, it was perfect.
Speaking of perfect, do you look back on Baelin's Route? How many things do you look at in Baelin's Route and go, oh, I wish I'd change that and change that?
Quite a few now. Yeah, they're like quite a few at this point.
Ben being the bad guy is one thing. I'm like, I don't quite know what it is yet. I think I had a good brainstorm with myself some time ago. I'm like, I think we should have brought Ben back in that final fight with the mage somehow.
Yeah,
possibly.
That's narratively. That was a big oversight by me, but also like we were in writers' rooms and stuff. Is like that mage isn't even referenced earlier on. He should have been like at least.
He is very briefly referenced. But
is he actually
in the Crossroads scene and somewhere else he's referenced?
Okay.
Now that you mention it, the whole film is pretty shit. What
Let's re-release Baelin's Route.
We'll re-release it. Yeah, Baelin's Route. We'll do some
director's cut.
Yeah,
the director's cut.
But yeah, okay. So Baelin's Route, that was a massive milestone for us. Released in May 2021. It's got like 6 million views, and I remember thinking like not to linger on Baelin's Route for too long. I was like, I wonder what this will do for the channel in terms of like, I was in my mind imagining like, Hollywood studios being like, yo, you guys made this, how it's expanding on this, and blah, 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 blah.
To be fair, I imagine that's probably one of the big reasons we got our agents.
Legit? Maybe.
I would say.
Maybe.
Yeah,
so it really did kind of go, we can make these.
Yeah,
so
legit.
Just so you know that we can make this if we have the time and the budget.
Yeah. And we
because it was around then that we got approached by them.
Yeah. And we fully planned to do more stuff like that. But
I mean,
again,
which in a different form is that?
Yeah, if you cut with the supercut, we'll bring it all together.
Yeah.
Wow, that segues from the first Kickstarter we did to, in the instance of time, to the second Kickstarter we did. Guys, I don't know if you're aware of this. We did another Kickstarter after this one. Do you remember this?
I don't remember. No, what are you talking about?
It was called The Great Expansion. And what we were looking to do was several things. But the primary one was we wanted a studio.
It kind of goes back to that conversation before as well as even still to this day, are the bottleneck of Viva La Dirt League. But it was again going.
We are working on this, by the way. We continue.
What is a challenge we have? And one of the main challenges was we don't have a place for this growing crew to work from. We had a little costume workshop, but we were never there because it wasn't our office. We worked from home.
It was so far away from me, at least. Yeah.
We now have a producer who came on during Baelin's Route. We have editors, but they're all working from home. All of our sets are just scattered around around Auckland. We need to kind of bring this all together.
We do have some people overseas though as well.
Yeah, that's true.
We still to this day they haven't moved to the studio, but we still work.
Shout out to Lane.
Yeah, shout out to Lane. What up, Lane?
We need to bring this together. We need it. We need an office. We need a studio. We need a base.
Yeah, and speaking of, we should make honorable mention to Zahn, who did, like you said, he jumped on as the producer for Baelin's Route. And to begin with, it was just for Baelin's Route. He was going to produce Baelin's Route, and then we'd be like, bye, see you later. But I really clearly remember this. He sat down with us, and he was like, what you guys have here is very special and unique, and it would be a shame. He was like just selling himself as well. It'd be a shame to stop this here. We can continue to grow Viva and turn you into a legitimate production company.
Yeah.
And that might have been the first time I was really like, production company. And like, oh my God. And really started considering that. And it's amazing to look back on what he could walk the walk. He was talking the talk, but he could also walk the walk. He's a massive part of the reason why we are in a studio. And I do have this. We were still filming. We were just talking about this the other day. We were just kind of filming every other week, one day a week or something. Our content. He was the one who kind of gradually pushed us towards doing filming blocks, which is such a more effective way.
Properly organizing everything.
Allowing us to do bigger and better productions to the point where now we're like, it's a legit product. Like it's sometimes quite intimidating how large the crew and
sometimes I feel like it's grown beyond our control.
Sometimes,
to a scary degree, but we kind of have to kind of ride the beast. And
relinquish
that's
just kind of what it is. Yeah,
like
to remove us as the bottleneck, we have to relinquish control, which is scary.
Which is scary. It is scary.
Yeah.
But I think we all collectively believe that Viva La Dirt League has the potential to outlive us all.
I mean, because we have some amazingly. It's almost weird that a lot of our fans, a lot of our audience don't realize how big Viva is behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But the style of Viva is no longer just the three of us because we have some amazing crew who are so committed to Viva and making these skits that you guys get to see so perfect and amazing and funny.
And cast that we work with are just the best. Like, it's actually insane getting through filming blocks and just reaching the end of it, like, man, that all ran so smoothly. Everyone was here. I just got processed through makeup, and someone handed me a side and offered me a coffee, and then
but also just like the props and the costumes,
props and costume, like, next level.
You just see them and you just go, someone spent so much time and effort and love on this costume, this prop, this whatever, and look how freaking awesome
and
it is.
There's too many people to name, really. We've got just so many people working under the Viva umbrella, like at the moment, especially during film productions where we bring on a bunch of other contractors. But yeah, shout out to all of them that help make the Viva content, because without them, Viva would not be what it is.
So going back to the actual great expansion Kickstarter, which has allowed for all of us.
Yeah.
I was blown away, like just mind-blowing by the amount of support that we got from the fans.
It's crazy because we were like, for Baelin's Route, there was a product. There was something. We were doing what we do, which is make film.
Absolutely. I was so nervous. Like, I just assumed our second Kickstarter would be either another short film or maybe the feature film we were kind of alluding to, because I think in my mind as well, when we were considering the second Kickstarter, I wasn't imagining Epic Seaman was going to continue to grow, grow so much, and I was actually okay with the notion of being like, we can make some in-game shit right now.
Yeah.
But now the idea of releasing what the feature film effectively is, whatever iteration of it that it is going to be.
But that's going to be ages away.
It's going to be ages away, and it's like quite a end of an era
and
vibe.
It should be ages away.
And it should be ages away. It should be ages away.
But yeah, I mean, essentially, if you boil it down, what we were asking for is help us with our mortgage.
Yeah.
Effectively, like that,
and that made me very nervous.
Yeah, it's like help us get an office.
Yeah,
basically.
And our big hurdle that we had to jump over was, how do we market this so our audience get excited? But I think through that as well, it allowed us to be like, okay, so we need to get the audience excited. So what are we going to do?
Yeah, we need
it
to.
Gave us direction. It actually directed us into what we're trying to create.
It really did. Because otherwise, we if we had just gone like, help us with our mortgage, and we built a place, we moved in, and we might have just continued to do what we're doing.
Yeah.
But
by having to make like these milestones, and if we get this, then we'll make the tavern. If we get this, then we'll make the board set, and this will make the green screen. It kind of like, okay, so this is what we're doing.
Yeah,
we've got a plan.
And just to sell it as everything will be upgraded. We will make new shows. We'll make bigger, better shows. Like everything will be streamlined and production value. Blah blah blah. And obviously it clicked because the Kickstarter exceeded all of our expectations.
I remember just that first day, or not even the first day, the first like few hours. It was you and me, Ellie. We were up late because we released it quite late, didn't we?
No, I think it was the opposite. I think it was like 4 or 5 a.m. So it was early. So we got up
it was
early.
We got up early.
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah.
And you and me were just losing our fucking minds.
I remember waking up and Charles was just like, the first thing I heard was, you've already hit $500,000 or something.
Yeah, it was crazy.
No, I think it was 700,000 by the time you guys woke up. We'd already blitzed Baelin's Route by the time you guys woke up.
Like, we've already blitzed fucking Baelin's Route.
That's insane.
And you and I were just losing our tits at 4 or 5 in the morning, whatever it was.
Because within the first hour, we'd already hit 100K, and that was kind of our main goal. That was our overall kind of goal. And we were like, oh no, we need like graphics to make now because we haven't.
And it was only you and me awake, and we didn't have the graphics team awake, and we were like, fuck, what do we do?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was crazy.
And then, mind blowing. But then it just. And then it lulled for a bit, but then it just kept growing.
Yeah.
And growing.
Well, it literally, to the point, it exceeded our expectations so much. We hadn't prepared for rewards beyond, what was it, like?
$1 million? Probably we hadn't prepared for anything beyond $1 million, I assume.
I think we'd had some goals.
We had up to $1.5 million, I believe.
Okay. But those were that's stupid. We'll never have to. And we had to come up with new goals as the Kickstarter progressed. And so that just blew, that was such a key Viva moment, and that is such a massive moment of our lives as well, just watching those goes up. And those live streams we did where we were just seeing the numbers tick over, like we were live streaming like a few hours leading up to the end of it, and it just the blitzed off at the end again and got us. What was our final tally? Like what did we?
The final total.
We ended up hitting 2.5 million US,
which equates to about 4 million New Zealand.
It unfortunately doesn't say completed on the Kickstarter because it happened within 30 seconds, and we couldn't up. Unfortunately, on Kickstarters, you can't change the graphics once it ends.
That's right.
And we didn't. It was literally within seconds, and we didn't have time to change the graphics.
So we did.
We did hit 2.5. The final tally is 2.52, 2,521,000.
That's insane.
And a few dollars.
Yeah.
So I think we genuinely had goals up until about 2 million, and it's just those last two that we added on at the end.
Two. Yeah.
The Schmuck and Rock adventure and the D&D adventure.
Wow. Yeah.
But yeah, that's allowed us to get us. I mean, to be fair, to be actually completely blunt, like that allowed a big part of the expenses towards getting a studio, but we still had to get a big
massive mortgage.
We were very clear about that, and even during the Kickstarter, we were like, we are putting a lot of our own money into this as well. Like,
absolutely.
The Kickstarter is essentially showing to the bank that we can do this.
Yeah.
Which it did definitely for sure.
So now that we're in the studio, and thanks to our incredible fans, we've got our amazing team here all together, and I feel like we're really starting to settle into the new norm.
It's been rocky in the last year.
It's been rocky in the last year.
I really feel, especially this block that we've just finished, that we are settling into this new normal.
This block felt very smooth.
Oh man, it did. I'm tired, but filming has always made me tired.
Just filming, even if it was the most smoothly running thing in the world, you'd just be tired by the end of it. Directing, acting. What's the plan for next year and beyond?
Well, yeah, we've been just running at full steam so much that it has always been like, okay, we've got to run, got to plan, got to look towards the stars, the next thing. But we've kind of realized among all three of us that we did the Kickstarter to get the studio for XYZ, in air quotes, normal reasons. And we were looking towards next year for things even beyond those normal reasons. And it was like, we're going to kill ourselves if we try go beyond those reasons.
Full disclosure to everyone listening / watching. We, this year has been a big year of finding our limits and feeling that, reminding ourselves that we're human and that burnout is a really very real thing. And I think we all collectively felt by the end of the year. It was really nice actually just catching up with you guys for a drink and being like,
what do we want? To
talk about where we're at and what do we want and what's kind of a good time back to the first episode of the podcast we did is like, what's happiness? Like, what do we want? And the thing is like, Viva La Dirt League has already exceeded my expectations of what I ever thought it could be. And as such, like where I thought my life could kind of be. Why am I so desperately driven to keep trying to make it grow?
It's weird, eh?
It's a weird, just human condition where it's like more is never enough.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I really...
We're literally here. We've hit the dream already.
We're here.
This is definitely why I wanted to start the whole podcast series with the happiness one. I think it's perfect.
Yeah, I think it's perfect.
Because it ties in exactly to that.
Absolutely.
To so many other things. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I really think next year's, while we will be doing some exciting things, is about kind of cementing ourselves, stabilizing Viva, and figuring out the new norm.
Well, in my mind, it's doing what we had promised with the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Not going fucking crazy and trying to like hit the stars even further. It's going, this is what we wanted. Let's start doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
as opposed to drop the ball on what we wanted because we keep going up that way.
I think if we kept pushing ourselves at the rate we were in the last few months, people would start seeing that as well. Like people would start that. They'll be like, it'd be the subconscious thing. Like they're not enjoying themselves anymore.
They're doing for example, one of the things we realized we got to drop was the variety show thing that we were doing with a couple of live streams.
Yeah. Luckily we were robbed. And it was kind of a wake up call. Like legit. I think we'd been committing to it if we weren't robbed and we didn't lose some gear for it. It was a real like
maybe it was just like the universe saying, hey, just stop.
Just chill, man.
Just chill for a bit.
Because they only came in and robbed a couple of things from the variety show.
Interesting.
Wait, Rowan, where were you on the night of the
what? Did God rob us?
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's a crazy conspiracy theory, bro.
But yeah,
also I noticed that you've had really good switching on your stream recently.
Yeah, your audio levels are amazing.
My plan.
But yeah, I agree. Like we're putting that indefinitely on hold because that's a lot.
I'm sure it'll get picked. It's fun and exciting and cool. It may get picked up in the future.
Yeah.
but we've got to hit that normal. We've got to hit the new normal.
Got to find the
first.
normal. There are still things, like lots of exciting things happening, but it's just not stuff we're going to kill ourselves over.
Yeah, I think for me personally, what the next year looks like for me is trying to just find time for myself.
Yeah.
And
it's coming back to that time convo.
It's time, and I really want to get to the point where I'm like, man, I'm a little bit bored actually, and I want to go and strive to make something.
Yeah.
So I want to find that time.
What's that word you just used?
Bored?
Yeah. What does that mean?
I don't know.
That's weird.
Where it's like, yeah, I want to.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I genuinely know what you mean. It's bored as well, but it's anxiety. I haven't had the anxiety that I'm not doing enough for a long time. And it's that anxiety in me that strives to create and do other things and do some new cool things. For you, it's bored. For me, it's anxiety. I just haven't had that in a long time.
So your goal is to get anxious?
Yeah.
Fucking chill.
It's a special type of anxiety. I actually like the feeling these days now that I know what it is. It's going, I've got time. I can go do a thing. I can. That's right. Let's do a little bit of. Let's do a bit of research. Just go for a wander through the streets around home and just think about creativity. And
yeah, that'll be really. I want that. I want some of that, please. By the way, I just noticed. I remember we sang Ben's praises. I just saw Brett walk to and fro the writers' room. Did we talk about Brett in the last episode?
We haven't. Unfortunately,
Brett's
a great example. Ben's a great example. Lucky we've got Ellie in the room so we can praise her.
Thank you.
I genuinely
there's so many people.
I feel like Brett is she's been on our the Viva team for so long. Just a special shout out to Brett as well. She's been such an integral part of Viva for the last several years. And now she's even one of our core writers and is helming a show with Allie as well.
Hell
yeah. So shout out to Brett. Wouldn't be genuinely where we are.
I think we need to do a few episodes. And there's been comments in our trailer on YouTube of people being like, get some of the core Viva people in and do and chat with them about them type thing. So we need to do a few episodes.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Will we get another microphone or?
What would we do?
They can use this one.
Oh, yeah.
It's just the camera situation. That's the thing we've got to work on here.
Oh, cameras. These cameras are pissing me off. And on that note,
I think that kind of wraps up part 3. It kind of brings us to where we are now. Next year's very bright. The future of Viva is very bright. We're going to make dope shit.
And by next year, do you mean this year?
Oh, yeah, this year.
I mean this year.
2024. This year, 2024.
I mean 2024.
Because this isn't being recorded in December of 2023.
How was New Year's and Christmas for you guys?
Jesus, Alan.
Man, I had a crazy New Year's and Christmas.
What a job.
I loved I went to the beach.
Yeah, cool, man. Cool. Wrap us out, Ron.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay, yeah, let's fucking wrap us out.
Let's wrap us out, Rowan. Let's do it.
Yeah.
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 Woo! Yeah.
Viva!
We were told we should do a podcast about where we came from.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, can I have some of that knowledge? I want to know about you and Pooh. I want to do a doobly-doo with the spaghetti schmo. What the fuck? I've done a
Damn it, the thing is, you were doing
so well that I ran out of words.
The podcast, the raps are getting better, even by episode 9.
Yeah.
You with Pooh and that's
the raps are getting
Nothing else
better.
rhymes with you.
Nothing else rhymes with you. We are off to writer's room.
Yeah, speaking of having no time.
No time.
Let's go to writer's room.
Let's go.